Hello, and welcome to War of the Spark. Today we're covering the top 10 Planeswalkers for EDH and War of the Spark. Now, this is arguably a very controversial topic. Each Planeswalker in this set fits a niche, and Wizards ran with that fucking niche hard. So just because one Planeswalker is amazing in one deck archetype, doesn't mean they're good for the other 99% of EDH decks. So, if you get your ass in a knot because some guy on the internet is not putting your favorite new Planeswalker on this list, then untie your butt and walk away, because these are my opinions and you don't gotta like them. Also, personally, I find Planeswalkers really tricky to evaluate in EDH. There's usually 3 other players in a game, so a Planeswalker might not make it to your next turn if it draws too much hate. They need to be flexible yet durable. Also, Tezzeret wasn't considered for this list because he's the buy box promo, and he's clearly the best one. Don't at me. So we have one honorable mention. Chiron the Great Creator. He turns off all your opponent's artifacts, can turn a non-creature artifact into a creature, and grab you an artifact you own from exile or from outside the game and put it into your hand. So he's an honorable mention for a few reasons. First, I'm biased to all hell about Chiron. I love this Tin Man. Second, he possibly has the most powerful combo from any card in this set, being the combo with Mycosynth Lattice. You don't know about that yet? Check out my combo breakdown video on Mycosynth Lattice. Basically, it and Chiron ends the game for your opponents by locking them out. But the final and main reason he's not on this list is because if your playgroup doesn't allow grabbing cards from outside of the game, then he can't really be used to his full potential. Yes, he still shuts down Soul Rings and Mana Rocks and all that, but his big potential comes from grabbing any artifact you own for any situation. And if your playgroup doesn't allow that, then he isn't really his full self. Before I reveal number 10, remember, I'm looking for flexibility with these Planeswalkers, in their versatility and colors and not putting a target on your forehead. I can already feel your scathing comments about this pick. Number 10 is Ob Nixilis the Hate Twisted. For 3 and 2 black, you get a 5 loyalty Planeswalker that pings an opponent whenever they draw a card. You can neg to him to destroy a creature and its controller draws 2 cards. Now this was a highly contested spot. The new Kiora almost took it over, but I considered the following. Everyone draws cards. This is a Planeswalker that will be forgotten, yet will cause pain on big draw spells and as the game progresses. Spiteful Visions and Underworld Dreams are common cards in black decks and cause widespread pain to the table. Passively, Ob will deal damage, but you can pair him with wheel effects to really rack up the pain, and his neg 2 can take out large threats at the price of causing its owner to draw 2 cards. Or, you can just do it on your own creatures to draw you cards. Because he's mono black, he can slot into any deck. Mill deck, group slug deck, pillow fort deck, take your pick. And late game, he stifles people from drawing into finishers. But his main appeal is that no one will find him threatening. Thanks, Ob Nixilis. Who is number 9? No, legit, who is number 9? It's this chick that just wanders around. For 3 and white, you get the Wanderer. A 5 loyalty Planeswalker that prevents all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. That's pretty sick. This doesn't allow you or your creatures to be hit by common damage-based board wipes like Earthquake and the recently spiked Chandra's Ignition. Also, your creatures won't take damage from fighting other creatures or enter the battlefield in attack effects like Aether Flash and Caltrops. Also, large-scale damage effects to you like Heartless Hidetsugu and Saskia the Unyielding are negated too. That can save you a lot of life. And her neg 2 ain't bad. She can exile a big fatty that might decide to swing at you and, actually hurt you with some combat damage. Number 8 is Lady Garruk. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. For 2 and green, you get a 4 loyalty Planeswalker that allows you to cast your creatures at instant speed. That's not bad. As I've said in previous videos, a worse Prophet of Kruphix is still pretty good. Vivian's +1 gives a creature vigilance and reach until your next turn, so she can still be protected by one of your big beat sticks after it attacks. Her neg 2 allows you to grab a creature off the top 3 cards of your deck and exile it, but you can play that creature as long as it's exiled. Being mono green, she can slot into any creature based deck and allows you to play mind games with the old untap and pass strategy. Really not much else to say here. Her mainstay is her 6 static ability, and that's probably enough to keep her alive with some big flashy blockers. Number 7 is another one of my favorites, Healey Sublime Artificer. For 1 and 2 blue or red, you get a 5 loyalty planeswalker that makes a 1/1 servo artifact creature whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Her neg 2 allows you to turn target artifact into a copy of another artifact or creature you control. I know it sounds crazy, but I really think this is a very fair card. I could only think of one infinite combo to make a million servos involving Retraction Helix and a 0 cost non-creature artifact. The big commander for her is obviously Brutaclad. Being able to turn one of your Murs into any artifact or creature and then turning all your other tokens into that copy is kinda crazy. And of course she slots right into Spellslinger decks to make a pile of blockers and artifact decks because, well, who doesn't want 2 Panharmonicons or 2 Aetherflux Reservoirs? But I think she can also shine in beatdown decks. Because her copy ability doesn't trigger enter the battlefield effects, attack and combat damage effects are the way to go. Remember, EDH is a singleton format, so doubling up on a powerhouse creature can be game ending. 2 Pathbreaker Ibex to buff your board, 2 Grave Titans, Sun Titans, Steel Hellkites. Or how about sacking your copy before end of turn? Making a bunch of worms with Wormcoil Engine or Worldspine Worm is a good payoff for a little servo token or mana rock. Nissa who shakes the world. Hold the fat jokes. Despite the name, this Nissa means business. Right off the bat, she makes all your forests tap for an additional green mana. Her +1 allows you to put 3 +1/+1 counters on a non-creature land, and it becomes a creature that untaps and gains vigilance and haste. So it serves as pseudo mana ramp at the price of making your land a creature. If you choose a forest this way, then Nissa only costs you 3 mana, which is a nice payoff. Her ultimate of neg 8 is the real deal though. You get an emblem that makes all your lands indestructible, and then you can search your library for any amount of forests and put them on the battlefield tapped. If she survives the ultimate, you can then start making indestructible 3/3s, or just use all the mana you have to win the game. Despite this, her love for forests means she's less useful the more colors you run, and she really only pays off in green heavy decks. That said, she ultimates right away with Doubling Season out, and on the next turn with Pier. Not horrible. Number 5 is a Belle of the Ball, Liliana Dreadhorde General. Everything dies and you will too, but before you do, you might as well take out some of your creatures along the way for value. The nice part about this Lily is she doesn't care what dies, so execute your tokens, chump block everything, throw your creature companions to their death, and with their last breath, you get to draw a card. That's value no matter what the cost. Her +1 even gives you a 2/2 zombie, a protector, or a tribute. Either way, it's just another corpse on the pile you're gonna have with Liliana. Her neg 4 is barter and blood on a stick, but you don't mind your stuff dying. Liliana's ultimate is essentially a one-sided cataclysm. Each opponent chooses 1 permanent of each type they control and sacrifice the rest. I'll be honest, I'm iffy on her, but saying all that stuff out loud makes me confident in her place at number 5. Ral's Storm Conduit was an unassuming planeswalker to me. I didn't think much of him initially. Frankly, I'm probably overlooking a lot of the planeswalkers, but let's stick with Ral for now. For red, blue, and 2, this planeswalker has a game-ending static ability in the right decks. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Ral deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. He wins the game with any copy shenanigans. 2 copy spells such as Reverberate and Fork ping each opponent to death by using 1 copy spell to copy the other copy spell and then using the copy of that copy spell to copy the original copy spell. Really, any combo shenanigans can end the game here. Like the Dualcaster Mage combo, which if you've never heard of, enjoy my shameless plug of my Dualcaster combo breakdown video. But he also pings with any Isochron Scepter combo, Thousand Year Storm combo, and off every storm count. Remember, any copy of an instant or sorcery spell you create pings for damage. His abilities aren't terribly exciting, but still useful. +2 to scry 1, and neg 2 to copy the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn, which could probably facilitate some other nasty stuff like extra turns, but I don't really have the brain power to figure all that out. What? You guys remember how everyone hated Leovold, right? Well, Wizards didn't, so they made Narset Parter Veils. For 1 and 2 blue, each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Yup. Here we go again. Group wheel effects like Teferi's Puzzle Box and Jace's Archivist will fuck up your opponents, and they can't do jack about it. You could argue that since Narset can't be your commander, she's not as oppressive as Leovold, but she is also only 1 color, meaning you can slot her into any deck that runs blue. Red blue? Sure. White blue? Why not? Just black blue? Who gives a fuck? Wizards didn't. She also has a neg 2 ability to look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put a non-creature, non-land card from them into your hand. But who cares, the game is over on your first wheel effect anyways. The only reason she isn't number 1 is because of the huge fucking crosshairs she puts on you. If you treasure friendships, don't play her. But, I mean, she is really good, so I'm gonna play her.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Good old Tef Boy, bringing the pain once again. For the low cost of 3 mana, you get a Planeswalker that doesn't allow opponents to play cards at instant speed. He combos with Possibility Storm and Knowledge Pool to lock your opponents out of the game, but besides that, he also shuts down counter spells, combat tricks, flash effects, and end of turn shenanigans. Funny how this Teferi is the best counter against the other Teferi. Really makes you think. Anyways, his +1 allows you to play sorcery spells at instant speed. What? That means you can ramp on your opponent's turn, tutor on your opponent's turn, board wipe on your opponent's turn, the list goes on and on. His last ability is neg 3, return target artifact, creature, or enchantment to their owner's hand, and you draw a card. Not horrible, but really nothing compared to the other 2 abilities. Disgusting! Here we are. And staying with the blue heavy top of the list, we have Ashiok, Dream Render. For 1 and 2 blue or black, Ashiok doesn't allow opponents to search your library with their own spells or abilities. Bruh. So tutors are kaput, fetches are kaput, ramp spells are kaput. That's gross. At least they can still search off our path to exiles, right? But it doesn't stop there. Ashiok's neg 1 ability makes a player mill 4, then exiles each opponent's graveyard. Each! Almost all EDH decks run some sort of graveyard recursion, or flashback, or something to do with the bin. It's why Anafenza is such an annoying commander to play against. But she only affects creatures. Ashiok fucks each opponent's burial site and then spits on them. You can even run a graveyard deck and mill yourself and then shit in your opponent's empty tombs. And you can do it 5 times, because it only costs -1. 5 goddamn times. Ashiok is just out there kicking every Golgari commander in their respective genitalia. I don't even care that Ashiok is 2 colors. Sure, it restricts them a little, but for the love of God, read that fucking text box. What the hell? Seriously, get over here. Look at my fucking computer screen. Sorry about that. And that is a top 10 Planeswalkers for EDH in War of the Spark. If you don't agree with me, comment down below and let me know why I'm wrong and you're right. As always, like, sub, comment, and share. And until next time, buy your fucking Ashioks.